All set? Okay, we'll call this meeting back to order. Make a motion that we come out of executive session with no action taken.
Second.
Motion by Jason, seconded by Velma. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Okay. We need to add an item to the agenda, RSU finance.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else got anything else they want to add to the agenda?
Is Leah sticking around?
Nope.
No, so I don't have to move that up. All right.
No, no.
The only other thing I have is that. The only other thing I have is that I have a municipal quitclaim deed that I would like to have approved tonight. And heavy signatures.
Under business.
Yes.
Looking for a motion to accept as amended.
So move it.
Second.
Motion by Jason, seconded by Velma. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Carries. All right, next item on the agenda is public forum, where we are open to discussions from the public on any non-agenda items. Anybody have anything they want to speak from the public? Any board member got any public comments? Hearing none. Approval of the April 10th minutes.
Here, I make a motion, we approve the minutes.
Motion by Velma. Seconded by Jason to approve the April 10th minutes. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Committee and board reports. RSU Finance Committee.
I attended the meeting of the RSU Finance Committee on Thursday, April 13th at 8 o'clock at Kennebunk Elementary School. They went over the budget. The first thing they went over were the financials, and the financials appear to be all in line. Although right at the moment, the SPED is fully staffed in ed tech, so they have all of those. Stipends were discussed for the members, and a contract will be coming up. The next meeting, they will discuss and know what carry forward is. The change in the overall budget, there was a change because the insurance came in at 0%, which saved them about $300,000. They are going to take the savings and reduce the carry forward and the fund balance with undesignated surplus to soften fiscal 2025. They're also putting $200,000 back into the SPED budget because they moved some of it out of there in order to help soften the tax blow. And they are looking at a $3 million carry forward for the next budget cycle. And also they went and reviewed the draft for the RFP for banking services. I did not print that out because that draft is 36 pages long. And I brought the financial paperwork here to Keith, and I didn't write down when the next meeting was.
Very good. Thank you, Velma. Any questions for Velma? Okay. Thank you. Moving on to manager's report. First item on the agenda is petition for road acceptance.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, obviously, we just had a additional executive session relative to the petition that we've received to accept Conifer Way as a town road. I believe there was some opinion from the attorney relative that the petition as submitted, number one, doesn't meet the requirements of the ordinance because the ordinance states that the road has to be built to the town standards. We know that portion of the road is not built to those standards. And then further, there's a piece of the road, or the petition was written in such a way that the waiver of damages was not identified within the petition. So, which falls under the state statute. So for those reasons, I believe that this board can take action to not place that petition warrant article on your warrant.
Any other discussion from board members?
No, I'll make that a motion though. I'll make a motion not to place the petition for Conifer Way on the annual town meeting because it fails to comply with the requirements of 23 MRS 3025 and the town's ordinance provisions relating to acceptance of town ways.
And a motion by Jason. Seconded by Tom. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries.
In terms of the TIF amendment, I do not have that information as of yet. As soon as I do, I'll share it with you, but I think Phil was back in the office. Today was his first day from vacation, so.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving into business. First item is a discussion on the select board's September 12th dangerous building order regarding a single family structure located at 159 Proctor Road.
Yeah, I believe we already took action on that after
Oh,
we came out of.
we made the motion
executive
when we
session.
came out. Yeah, we did on the first one. Yep. Sorry about that. My mistake. All right, next item is the Trail Fest request for beer and wine sales.
Just turn that on.
You ready drawing? Ready drawing? So I think you guys had already discussed this previously, if I am not incorrect. Keith, is that right?
No, I just placed it on there because you weren't going to make the meeting. I did inform the
Yeah,
board that you wanted to talk to them a little bit about the possibility of having beer and wine sales at the Trail Fest.
Correct.
Right, we wanted to see where the beer and wine was gonna be located. We just didn't.
Correct. Okay. Yeah, there's no wine. It's just beer. We're working right now. We're trying to work with, sorry to discriminate, Velma. I know. So, we're working with Funky Bow right now and we're trying to come to terms with him on showing up here for that event. But basically, if you look at this map, if you turn it away from you, so the municipal building is at your chest and the start line is away from you. You can see to the left that the post-race food is going to be there. So we have a barbecue tent that's going to be there. And then next to that is going to be roped off, whereas the beer and wine is going to be. So it will be roped and there won't be access to it unless there's somebody there checking IDs right at the entrance where it's 21 plus. And there'll only be one entrance to that roped off area.
And will they be allowed to walk out with alcohol?
No.
So there'll be a post
It's
that'll say-
restricted. That's why I put picnic tables here to note that they'll only be restricted to stay in that area. Yes. Yep.
Now, does that person have a license to distribute or sell beer? The person
Yes.
that you're talking to?
Yes.
They do have a license.
Correct.
So you'd be working on their license.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, if they, there's a special thing with the state of Maine that they get an application for a catering permit. For them, for their license to be off premises. And then it does require, the state of Maine does require, they'll go through and pass it, but there is a place for the municipal officials to sign off on it.
So we will be receiving that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
once we confirm who our beer vendor is gonna be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will just be one vendor. It's not gonna be like a tent of several different, it's just one beer vendor.
So on the application for toilet facilities, there's an asterisk. What's that asterisk for? Number 13?
The mass gathering permit? Oh, yeah. Oh, 2 porta potties. Is that the one that you're
Right,
talking about?
It said porta potties plus use of the town hall facility. We'll
Yeah,
talk
you're,
about that a little bit.
you're
but-
combining two things now, right? You're talking about the mass gathering permit and their request for,
We do, yeah,
Okay.
we do have a copy.
so,
I jumped ahead.
so is there any objections to considering the alcohol on site? I think that would be what we need from the board tonight.
Is that in their application, Keith, or is that just,
No, it's new. I don't think that Henry put it in our application originally because it's something that came up beyond that after.
so they have submitted an application for that, right? Beer and wine?
No, we have no application yet before us. They wanted to come to you this evening to see if you were going to consider it. And if the consideration is that you would approve it, then they'll process, as they've said, they've already indicated that perhaps Funky Bow would be the one catering the event. So they would have to go through the permitting process with the state as well as through you folks in order to have that occur at that event.
Well, tell them what you were hoping.
I mean,
for.
not necessarily, Tom, but I think the hope is that the runners will all get a free beer. So after they run and then once their beer is had, they get a check mark on their bib number so that you can't come back, right? So then it's like Xed out with a marker. So you have to show your bib number to actually receive that beer. And when it's Xed out, you can't get another unless you purchase it. Yeah. And so if you do purchase it, I think it's up to Funky Bow to decide whether or not we get funds from that. I think the hope is that they give us some money, but I think that's up to them. And if they don't want to, we'll still take them. I mean,
As long as they donate for them.
yeah, if they donate to the runners, I think that's more important to us. Yeah.
And the nice thing on the bibs, when we get the registration for the runs, we get their birthday.
Yeah. So that's a bonus. So the only ones that actually we do get their birthday on the day of registrations too. So we know in advance if they're of age or not. But we will still check IDs at the gate. Yeah.
And they will have, we will get a certificate of insurance for liquor liability from them, but our own insurance will be on top of that. And that was confirmed today.
Mr. Chairman, I think you had a question in the audience too, relative to this.
Yeah, you'll have to come on up, state your name, speak in a microphone, please.
I won't be that long. My name is Pamela Drew. I live next door over here. Hi. I just had a few questions. You've answered some of them already about how it was going to be done and that type of thing. But I had a couple more questions. You've talked about the insurance. So the insurance is aware that you're talking about beer sales here.
Absolutely.
And the application says that the sheriff is aware. Is the sheriff aware that there's going to be alcohol or that you're planning on alcohol?
Well, we wanted to find out if we passed this,
Mhm.
this first. I know we weren't gonna tell everybody until we knew the select board.
Don't,
That's sort of our
make sure
step.
you speak up, please.
Okay,
They will be, the sheriff definitely will be.
This
if
was
we
our-
get the
This was
okay.
our step 1.
okay.
Was coming.
Well, I just wondered what he thought about it. That's all. Because it said the sheriff is aware. Yeah, the sheriff is aware of the event because of the past events, which have not included alcohol. I had another question. It's not about the alcohol. Do you plan on using a starting gun this year?
I don't know that we've decided. Did we have a horn last year?
I think we have the option to use either. And I think that it's been in the past a choice of the person that's starting the race.
Okay, I think it's been used. I mean, I'm right next door, so, yeah,
I
I
yeah,
know
it has, it
First
has.
year, it definitely
Yeah.
okay.
was.
I just wanted to ask.
I
'cause
think
there's-
definitely first.
There's nothing on here mentioning that. There is something about noise. And I just think it should be on there if you're gonna use something so that anybody who looks at this can be aware. It is a little startling at 7 o'clock in the morning to be next door and hear a gunshot
I don't,
over
have we
here.
ever started a race at 7?
No, the races start at 9,
Well,
9:30.
whatever time it is, I'm feeding animals.
Sure.
And there's a group of people and there's a gunshot. What the heck is that? And then I thought, oh, wait a minute. I know what it is. That's a race starting. So I just thought it should be on. That's all. I just thought I'd mention it. And I additionally just really wanted to say that I just think it's unnecessary to have alcohol at this event. You haven't mentioned, what time do you plan to start serving this? Is it 7?
No.
Oh, no.
The
It
race
was, it's
doesn't-
out, it's after the race. It's not
Okay.
before, not during, it's after.
So the event ends at 1, is that correct?
Like 11:30 or 12 is, I guess, when we would like open it up to runners.
I just want to say, I think it's unnecessary, that's all. It's mostly a kids thing and
It actually is not. The amount of kids that come to do the bike race is far less than the amount of adults that come to
Okay.
race.
again,
I don't know the
I
actual
don't think it's
numbers.
necessary to have it. The event ends at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Well, it has in the past. So we have a staggered start this year, so the times of the event start a little bit later, and the purpose of that was so that we could have sort of a closing party where everybody would come. And that doesn't necessarily mean that there needs to be beer there. But it's just like, so we will have a food vendor this year. We haven't had a food vendor in the past. So in order to allow him to make money, and again, we're hoping that he gives some of it back to us, though that's his choice. But for us to have a food vendor there, it only makes sense for us to have it where everybody's done around lunchtime. And in the past, everybody was done at different times. So I think our hope this year is that with our staggered starts at like 9, 9:30, 10. So 9 o'clock for the half marathon, it takes roughly 2 hours, a little bit less maybe, but it's a trail run. So it's not like a fast half marathon, like we're not sprinting here. And then a 10K and a 5K. So they'll all start at different times. And then at the end, they are wrapped up around between 11 and 12. Essentially.
There's nothing about food.
Well, that was also added.
All right, that's just what I wanted to say. That's all.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public have a comment? Okay. Comments from the board? Anybody have any issues with alcohol? And we'll move on to the permit after, but
I don't have an issue with the alcohol or the food. I do parking. I see the 200 plus. Is it like overflow parking? Where are you thinking?
We do Mildred Day. So
Oh.
they shuttle.
All right.
Yes,
Yeah.
yep,
Thank you.
good question.
okay. So, board doesn't appear that anybody has any issues with the wine, beer and wine, so you're free to move on with that. Next item is the mass gathering permit.
We'll just stay up here.
We want to, so the wine issue should be part of this permit, right?
I think we need to, it sounds like especially,
No.
thank you.
No, it should be a separate permit that you will be getting after they confirm if in fact Funky Bow is the one that's going to be providing their beer. There'll be no wine sales. It's just be straight beer.
Straight beer. But there are some things, thank you for pointing it out, actually, that have been changed since Henry wrote this out. And I don't know if we should change that. There is food this year, that will be, for sale at the end. So I don't know if that's something, like, if it would be better for us to redo this or amend it. I don't know.
That's entirely up to the board. There is a piece on the actions by the board where they can approve addendums to the agreement. So say if they wanted to place food in there as something they were going to allow to have happen, they could do that. Or they could make you come back with another permit application.
But to the question of the asterisk, I don't know why there's an asterisk, but we will have 2 porta potties. And I think they show them on your map. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So last year we had a discussion about this and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we said that we did not want the town hall facilities to be used. That's why we requested porta potties.
I think it was an addition.
In addition.
I don't think that it was that we couldn't use them at
That's right, it
all.
was an addition. Your concern the last time was that you didn't want to, make an unbelievable burden on the limited amount of stalls that we have in our meeting room area. We have two stalls in the ladies' room and only one in the men's with a urinal. So I think that was your main concern, that you wanted to make sure that they didn't get overwhelmed.
Well, my intent was not to use the facilities at all. That was my
Okay.
intent, but
Would you object to, like, ACT associates, employees using the municipal facilities, but all runners and, maybe beer tent use the porta potties, like? Put the porta
Yeah, I think we
potties in?
can certainly shut it off like once registration's done. And I think last year what they did was they pointed to the porta potties for all the runners that were coming in to register. I mean, again, I'm hoping for another great day so that we don't have to have the issue of like inclement weather being a situation. But if it is, then having registration in here is much easier because if people are registering the day of, writing on those sheets in the rain is not, even with a tent, it's just not optimal. But once the registrations are done, they say, the porta potties are outside to your right. They try to negotiate them past using these restrooms in here. However, the volunteers have used the restrooms in here and our board members who are volunteering that
So
day.
I think we can say we can encourage it and try to do.
Yeah.
that.
If there's runners that like come in and use it without us knowing, I mean, I don't know that we have enough volunteer staff to patrol the bathroom. I mean, that would
I
be,
think it certainly would be more of an issue if you're having registration in here, obviously, right? 'Cause
but
if
we
you have
always do.
registration
I mean,
in
we have the
here,
last couple of years.
They'll be coming in, they'll be seeing it, they'll be going right by it, but
Yeah, actually with registration though, they're coming in the morning, they're usually on the bathroom at home. And then it's so busy and here
Mhm.
with people coming and going.
They usually go right back out to the start line. They put their stuff away and they go back out to the start line. Especially because they've just shuttled over. So, yeah.
So we certainly can try to encourage as much as.
yeah, I mean, again, the facilities here was not meant for that purpose, and that's kind of really my issue, right? I mean, obviously, I'm sure it can hold it, but I don't want to start setting a precedence and, next somebody else comes in and now we've got all kinds of people using these facilities, so.
We put signs or something for runners. No, but porta potties, runners.
Or we could put signs on the doors here that say for staff use only or something. Yeah, that seems.
When we entered into agreement with ACT, when we bought this property, one of the obligations was to make those facilities available to
Yes.
that. Now, not at this level, perhaps. we might
Right,
think,
exactly, that's.
But
Right.
we have an obligation to do
Right,
that.
that's my point. It's not at this level.
Right.
It's like people want to come in and run on the trails, fine, but when you're having a mass gathering now, that's nothing that at least I expected to see and right, so. But I don't have a problem with, the staff or whatever using it and if you do what you're saying you're doing, the few people that are not gonna listen to that and go it'll be pretty minimal. Right.
There are some spectators that come out, yeah, or kids that comment, yeah.
I just don't want to make it a norm where there's lines out here standing for people.
Yeah, I don't know that we've ever had that issue in the past, but we can certainly remedy that by putting signs on the doors that say for staff only. Or emergencies, I think would probably be helpful.
So does the board want to amend this application and add the food allowed, or do we want to have them create a new application?
And with amending it.
And my personal feeling also is I'd like to, in the motion that we waive the fee. We've waived the fee in the past, and I certainly would like to do that again.
Yeah, well, I'll make a motion to accept the application for mass gathering as amended to include food. And maybe just add it under entertainment. And then also, you want that a separate motion, a fee,
Put it in one. That's fine.
and waive the application fee.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion by Jason, seconded by Velma. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Very
I've
good.
got it down here, so I'll send it on your way.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank
Okay,
you
thank
very
you.
much. Appreciate
Good
it.
luck.
Good luck. All right, next item on the agenda is, we've got a quick claim deed that you're looking for signatures.
Yes, we had somebody who we're providing quick claim deed to Mr. Paul Gagnon for his property. He's paid off all his taxes, so we'd like to release that back to him. That's at map 4, lot 36, L9. Yes,
And I make a motion, we sign the quick claim deed.
Second.
Hold on a second, April 24th. Okay, we have a motion by Velma, seconded by Jason to sign the quick claim deed. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries.
and before we wrap up tonight, if you folk, both Tom and Jason can provide me the motions that they made tonight, I'll make sure they get correctly into the record.
There's a paper that you wrote, read the motion. Put that down. Okay, next item on the agenda is approval of the payable warrant. Motion by Velma. Seconded by Jason. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Anything else? Jason, I believe you're up. Motion by Jason at 7:34.
Second.
Seconded by Velma. All those in favor? Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.